So I've been feeling kind of crafty lately, and I decided that what I really need to do is make a custom snake enclosure. Join me on my journey as I make a custom snake enclosure. My snake is just too big for his little cage, and it's not a little cage, it's 5 feet long. But unfortunately, he is already close to 9 feet long, so I pretty much need to double the size of his space at a minimum. You could argue that I shouldn't have a snake in a cage no matter what, but we do have a snake. He's only ever lived in a cage. I'd like him to live the happiest life he can for as long as I have him. Have I mentioned that I've never built anything before? And that I don't have any plans, just plans that I came up with on my own. And that I have no one to help me. I'm going to be doing this all by myself. It's going to be an adventure. I have no idea what I'm doing at all. Here is my shopping list. What I can say is that building my own custom snake enclosure is going to be much less expensive than paying a professional to do it for me. But what I can also say is that does not mean it is going to be an inexpensive adventure. This stuff is costly. This snake, I hope this snake knows that I love him at least $500 worth, and that's a Well, I'm at the Home Depot now, and I can say that it's been a very disappointing experience. They canceled half my order that I placed last night, but won't refund me for 3 to 5 business days. They have sent me back and forth between the customer service desk, the pro desk, and the lumber yard. Literally, this will be the 5th time. And I placed another order online for something they said they did not have in stock, even though it shows online that it is in stock. And they changed the delivery date on me without asking and without giving a reason why. We'll see how this goes, because right now I'm not feeling good about it. I hate to say it, but my Home Depot experience has been very sad. I've now been here for over 2.5 hours, and no one has helped me get my lumber or get my lumber cut. I only ordered 15 pieces. It shouldn't be that much. But now I've spoken to management twice. I've spoken to customer service 4 times. And I'm getting ready to give up on this project and get a full refund on everything. This is awful. Well, I finally had success at Home Depot. I got here at 11:30 a.m. and I'm leaving at 3:30 p.m. It took 4 hours for them to cut 15 pieces of 2x2. Do better, Home Depot. Do better. Here's my haul from the Home Depot. Doesn't look like 4 hours worth of work, does it? But it was. I've had my shower, I've had my coffee, I've had my first bit of success. Look at that. That's the first piece of my frame. Doesn't it look nice? Let me tell you, I've already learned a valuable lesson. I might need to drill the holes for these nails before I put the nails in them, screws in them. It's making my wood split to just shove it in there. So now I'm going to try something different. We'll see if it works better. Here's my workspace. I don't have much space, but I'm lucky to have a good-sized living room to work in. Right now, I am making these little frame ladders, which are going to be the main flux of my structure. So I've run into a slight problem. My screws are cracking my 2x2s a little bit. I think the 2x2s are a little too dry. I tried to drill a hole first with a drill bit, but my drill bit suck and it broke off in the wood and I couldn't get it back out, so I had to break it literally off and leave it in there. So we'll see how this turns out. So I'm on day 1 of project of building my own snake enclosure, and I've learned some hard lessons. Dry wood will crack, which I didn't know about, and I don't know how to make wood less dry. And then also 2x2s are not actually 2x2, they're 1.5s by 1.5s. This wouldn't be a problem if I didn't measure everything else based on that being a 2x2 being 2x2. It seems to make sense, 2x2 equals 2x2, but it does not. Does not. Oh, Home Depot, you let me down again. 5 of my boards that were supposed to be cut to 20 inches are cut to 24, so I'm gonna have to go back to the Home Depot. Keep me in your thoughts, friends. I'm going to need it. So here's the first part of the frame for my custom snake enclosure. We will see how it all comes together, but I will say that It annoys me that the 2x2s were really 1.5 by 1.5s. I wish I had known that. I would have cut things a little bit differently. I wish I had known that the wood might dry out at the ends and crack. Crack like this. Crack like that right there. Do you see that crack? It's a crack. My roughest edge. Look at it. It's crumbled. It's falling apart. It's screwed in 6 ways to Sunday to try to hold it together. Oh, help it. Now we're getting places. I added the linoleum. I chose linoleum to help create a little bit more of a waterproof barrier for the snake's substrate. And pro tip, if you put gravel in the bottom of your substrate, it will keep the wood chips dry longer and keep mold down and other problems that you might get with aspen bedding or something like that. You'll also notice I add these bender boards to the end. I did that so that way whenever this whole thing is put together, the substrate and the gravel won't fall out. I would hate to open the door and have a mess every time. I cannot emphasize this enough. Beware when screwing in the plexiglass. Gentle, not too deep. I bought some wheels to go on the bottom, so that way once I have the dirt and the rocks and the substrate and the snake hides and the water thing and everything else, I'll be able to move this. I do live in an apartment, so moving is not an if, it's a when. Look, 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 look. I added wheels. It rolls. It rolls so easy. It rolls so nice. Even when I fill it with snakes and rocks and bedding, it's still going to roll. So good. Okay, guys. Overall, this doesn't have that many problems. Everything on this side connecting to the center is pretty flush. Whenever I push it together, fits together real nice. Or I did a second ago. Fits together real nice. With my hinges, it's going to be really easy to keep this part of the enclosure snake escape free. However, when we go over to this side, we have a bad problem, my friends. We have gap, and I can't get the gap to close, so I'm going to have to get crafty, and that's never good. The problem appears to be that this board is not straight. It is not straight at all. And I already knew there was going to be a minor gap because the bender board is about 1/4 of an inch thick, so 2 pieces would equal about 1/2 inch, which is what you see in this back corner over here. But that's going to be easy to plug. I'm just going to get some straight brace ties and some chest brackets and pop that sucker together. But this sucker, he will not pop. He will not go together. He's going to have to be cleaned in another way. And I think that way is going to be creating a spooky, dark hallway for my snake. That's a bit of a big oopsie. The entire point of the snake enclosure is to keep the snake enclosed. He must at all times be enclosed because there's cats. And I love the cats too. Maybe even a little bit more. Okay. My very serious mind the gap problem is now solved. I added a tiny spooky hallway to fill in this little gap. And it is going to make sure that my snake stays enclosed in his enclosure. Just in case, even though I know that it's not big enough for him to get through, I also filled in the gap on this back spot back here. I did all this, and all the tools I had were this, and a drill. After careful consideration, I've decided the custom snake enclosure is better as just one almost 9-foot long piece instead of an L shape. It loses 2 feet of space by removing that, but it also removes the part that makes it look the most, shall we politely call it, rustic. Now all I need to do is add the doors, add the screen on the top, and then the whole thing will be done. Done! Here's my only real injury. I managed to wear the skin away on my thumb from drilling so much. Look at that. I might have a callus. Here's that big old Maximus. He's too heavy. Well, the custom snake enclosure is all done. I got the doors added, and I added some straight braces to hold the two sides together. And then the doors, which are on hinges to open like a drawbridge, so the snake can escape free. Snake escape free. He looks pretty happy, I think. Definitely he looks like he can spread out much more than he would have before.